láyé olúgbọ́n mo ké borùn méje ẹ ò máa kọ yí lórin láyé àrẹ̀sà mo ké borùn mẹ́fà ẹ ò máa kọ yí lórin láyé ìsẹ̀yìn èmi ra kókò mo ra rán mo ra sọ́yán bàbá sọ àfọ̀lẹ́ ló lè pélé.
Good day, everyone. My name is Adeyemo Gbenga. You're all welcome to the Yoruba Abrahamic discussion in my next video. Today we shall be talking about Muhammad and everything that has to do with Muhammad in brief. If you really need the details, please subscribe for my book. Try to patronize me. You shall be seeing everything, but I have to give you an hint of what the book is all about. First and foremost, I have to make everybody realize that I'm not canvassing for any religion. I'm not a religionist, and I understand how people think. This is why my message is not for me to prove any point or to call or to fight any alpha or to challenge anybody in regards to their knowledge. I'm just doing my own because I'm a fan of truth. And even the Quran clearly said, bring your truth, bring your evidence if you are truthful. As a matter of fact, he also further stated, there is no compulsion in faith. The faith has been completed. Let everyone do what he wills. God knows the true believers. So let's dive into it. There's no way we'll be talking about Muhammad without talking about Saudi Arabia, because everything started from Saudi Arabia, according to many today. But if I'm to tell you that there was no place like Saudi Arabia in the last 13 centuries ago, I'm pretty sure, go and check it. Those who have old maps should try and check it. There was nothing like Saudi Arabia. In fact, there was nothing like Middle East, and there was nothing like Israel land. We only have Palestine and North Africa. Then it used to be Africa, North Africa, and far north. There was nothing like Saudi Arabia. So much for a so-claimed ancient land. So the land of Saudi Arabia was created by the Europeans in some few recent years. This is why Saudi Arabia is not that ancient. People will often argue that the Quran did mention about Becca, or Becca became Mecca in the future. But if I'm to tell you now, hope you won't be shocked to realize is that the Quran speaks specifically of different things about Becca and Mecca. In Quran 3 verse 46, Allah spoke about Becca and described what Becca looks like, and specifically called it the place where Abraham started his spiritual mission, spiritual movement from, before it spread to the other places. And in the same Quran, Allah further described what Mecca stands for in the lifetime of Abraham and in the days of Muhammad. He said Mecca was a barren land, a land of valley where people fight, Oju Olomo Oto, where we meet ourselves and fight. It was never a place for people to live. So Allah did differentiated both places inside the same Quran, and that tells you that both places can never be the same place. It's like describing Abuja and describing Lagos and expecting me to believe that Lagos is Abuja in the same literature. It is impossible. So furthermore, Allah now described further what Becca, the original Becca, was. And Allah said it in Al-Safat, and so also in Surah Al-Anam. Allah described in Surah Al-Anam, Allah described the place Becca as a place where rain used to fall. There used to be is a tropical rainforest region area where rain used to fall. There are vegetation, forest. There are different fruits that grows there. People used to make harvest there at the year ending, and there are gardens and people there. Even order Muhammad to try and be fair with him and to be appreciative to him. So that is Allah made it very clear. In a nutshell, Allah made it very clear that the Baka he is speaking about is a place where there are waters, where trees grow, and people live a very good life, a very conducive place for them to live. And today, Saudi Arabia, which people ascribe to the Quranic Becca, heaven bears me witness. Those who have been there can testify to it. For centuries and since the beginning of time, Saudi has never ever been a vegetable area. It's a pure desert land, a very scorchy place. Till today, as I'm speaking, they can't grow a single tree. They import, their tree is an artificial tree. They import food. They can't live without the modern day technology, which is AC, air conditioning. They can't. So it contradicts what Allah speaks of the Mecca in the Quran. So people can't just wake up one day and say, let's sweep that under the carpet. You can't sweep that. Definitely something is wrong somewhere. So let's jump further into another example which Allah may mention. And Allah further described Baka, where Muhammad lived. In As-Safat 37, Allah described where Muhammad lived. He said, Muhammad, don't you see people who we have turned to salt? People who we have turned to salt in the life days of Lut because they were disobedient. Don't you see it when you leave your house in the morning, when you are going to work, your workplace, and come back at night when you are arriving back from home? Don't you see them? Allah is categorically saying that Muhammad's house is around the desolation places of where the people of Lut were turned to salt. And if you check where the people of Lut were turned to salt today, it's still existing today in today's Israel. The land which is to be part of Africa before the European market to be part of Middle East. Israel is in Africa, it is in North Africa. Don't you get it? So Muhammad lives in Israel. That is what it means. Because Allah himself inside the Quran is saying Muhammad's house revolves around where the people of Lut dwelt. So everything going in Saudi Arabia indicates that there is a conspiracy which were created by certain different people, and their narration contradicts the Quran. That is what it means. At this junction, as a Muslim, you will have to ask yourself, is it Allah who write the Quran, and the Quran who happens to be the primary source of guide, the true information? Is it this same Quran of Allah I will believe, or what the word are following? A Muslim have to ask this question. You can't sweep it under the carpet, because at the end of the day, if that place happens to be nowhere Allah is directing you to, which is obviously not, then you are doing something else contradicting to what Allah permitted you to. In a nutshell, everything going on in Saudi Arabia are Babylonian cultures, Babylonian traditions, which come in correlation with what Babylon has been since ancient days. Forget that the Quran talks about Qibla. The word Qibla, the Arabic Qibla of Quran, the Arabic meaning of Qibla in the Arabic Quran means your location of where the location of where you choose for yourself to pray to God. It does not mean facing or a direction. This is why even if you check, like, there are so many verses which I can't be talking here for time's sake. So it's a Qibla of where God is trying to say, like the time God spoke to Muhammad in the Quran, telling him about the Qibla. He said, Muhammad, wherever you are, make that place your Qibla. I can use my house to be my Qibla. God is trying to say, make your Qibla a place where people will be coming to come and receive message. Allah is not saying the Qibla should be a direction of a particular place to face, which happens to be today's Babylon, Saudi. Allah is not saying that. And if we are even going to talk about the Kaaba, there is nothing like Kaaba in the entire Quran. So why are you making big deal? Why are you making importance out of what is now, what does not exist? It is only Qibla. There's nothing like Kaaba. In fact, the word Kaaba comes from can be related to an Arabic word in Ansabu. Ansabu is in the Quran. Ansabu means what you erected with your hand and you bow towards and face with an idol. And Sabu, that is what Qibla in. People erected it and make it a point. So all this thing doesn't go along with what Allah dictated of the Quran. So whatever you do, please do it with wisdom. At the end of the day, you will realize that you are a pagan. You are just using the name of God to cover up because you actually think the millions of the world doing it. You actually think that because the million people are doing it, it's safe for you to do it. No. This is why God said, if you follow most of the people of the earth, they will throw you far away in the sight of the true God. That is what is happening now. Because they only follow delusions. He says, let's go in masses. We can't all be wrong. And God said, only few people are truthful. This is why you have to challenge everything you'll be taught, especially when religion is concerned. So that is that for now. So let's now talk about what Muhammad is. I'll pick it from the scratch, directly from the scratch. Muhammad is an Ijebu man. If you don't know, he's a pure Ijebu man. His tribe is called Wadai in Sudan. The Ijebu of southwest in southwest Nigeria, they migrated all the way from the North Sudan down to southwest. This was the place where Muhammad lived. And this place is adjacent to the land of Egypt. In the ancient days, in early maps, there was nothing like countries. So the land of Sudan with Israel, with Egypt, is just an open terrace. There is no border. So we can categorize those places as the same place. Like I said earlier, it just used to be Africa, North Africa, and far north. The far north belongs to the Babylonians, which the Tourist Saudi Arabians, the Pakistan, all those people, the Middle Eastern are today. The North Africa belongs to the first Ethiopia. Ethiopia means ìtẹ́ àwọn ẹni tí òòrùn pa. Ìtẹ́ àwọn ẹni òòrùn pa is a Yoruba word. Ìtẹ́ àwọn ẹni tí òòrùn pa is Ethiopia. So, and the which means the space of those which are of high scorchy sun, which sun beats at. And the penetration of sun was caused by the Sahara presence there, which was why they called Ethiopia. The second Ethiopia, because we have first Ethiopia and middle Ethiopia. Ethiopia is not a country. This is why I said today's history is something else. Ethiopia is not even a country. We have first Ethiopia and second Ethiopia. The second Ethiopia happens to be where we Yoruba in southwest covered across Sudan entirely. Across Sudan entirely. So we have first Ethiopia, we have middle Ethiopia. The middle Ethiopia is the places of where scone eats hard. And it was a result of the Sudan desert, the Nubian desert too, as well in down Sudan. So as a matter of fact, don't judge history by what today's map is, or else you will get lost in what the European want to put you. You have to judge history what life has been there before they started manipulating it. So Muhammad lives in North Sudan, in adjacent of Egypt. Egypt itself was not even, that is another story for another day. So because of the pressure, and after the death of Muhammad, and the pressure of the Europeans, the Italians were so much all the way from Europe, most of the Jebus had to migrate down to southwestern part of Nigeria, which is why the kingdom of Queen Sheba too is still at Ijebu Ode here. It's all over Ijebu. Go to Ijebu, go and visit it. How can the Quranic and Bible Queen Sheba be at Ijebu Ode?